Some of us don't understand that where we're at right now in our lives is an equipping for what God wants to do with you next. We miss the equipping part and where we are at, so we can't even receive what God wants to take us. Because we're not ready for that. And so David already knew that, hey, I'm a shepherd. I know I wasn't the first one on the list, but I'm telling you one thing. I know my God. I know how big he is. I know how he can rescue me. And so when he came down to serve his brothers, he came to serve his brothers. And he just happened to catch this taunt while he was serving his brothers. Could you imagine? He's probably already thinking like, why ain't y'all out there doing something? Why are you even allowing this pagan Philistine to disrespect our God? Have you forgotten he's the same God who has rescued us from Egypt? Have you forgotten he's the same God that split the Red Sea? Have you forgotten he was the same God that met us in the wilderness? Have you forgotten he's the same God that began to give us the promised land? Have y'all forgotten all this? Have you not seen how victorious our God is, and you're going to allow this pagan Philistine to defile him? As a believer, we must learn to discern that the true nature of our battle and understand that our fight is not against people or circumstances, but against the enemy who seeks to steal, kill, and destroy us. That's your battle. I want to help you to refocus what you're fighting and what you're dealing with. Because if we can get people out of the way, if we can get circumstances out of the way, we can begin to say, oh, this is a spiritual war that I'm a part of because I'm a believer in Jesus. And what the attack is that look like it's coming in my life is actually spiritual and not actual individual people. Why? Because in this world we live in today, it is easy to become distracted by the many challenges and obstacles that we face. It's easy. We find ourselves struggling with financial difficulties, health issues, broken relationships, even persecution for my faith. But in those moments, it can be tempting to focus on the physical and the emotional aspects of our struggles, forgetting that there is a deeper spiritual battle that is taking place. And the enemy wants to believe that our problems are impossible and that we are powerless to overcome them. That's what he wants us to believe. And so most of the time, we just get stuck right there. Here's what I know. When we recognize where the real battle lies, we can begin to see our circumstances through the lens of faith and trust in God's power to bring victory. That's what we just read here in 1 Samuel, in chapter 17, verse 1 through 29. David said, hey, listen, we can allow this to take place. We must do something. We must address this issue. Why? Why? Because to recognize where the real battle lies, we must first understand the nature of our enemy. That's the first thing. To understand where the real battle lies, you must understand the nature of your enemy. David understood the nature of his enemy. One, it was the Philistine. Two, he knew that God wasn't with them. Three, he knew who his father was. Four, he's seen how his father can rescue him from the most dangerous places ever. Five, so he knew.